And I think that probably the native peoples in this land have been here for thousands and thousands of years. Even back to the point of the mammoth elephant and the saber-toothed tiger, because spear points have been found in the skulls of these creatures.
Most historians would tell you that the very first people that came to America probably came across the Bering Strait, either over an ice bridge or the continents were still connected at that point between Asia and North America, and sort of filtered down through America that way.
By the time Europeans arrived in the late 1400s, America was already home to more than 2,000 distinct cultures. So it's not surprising that a perplexed Native American in 1646 asked a Puritan missionary in Massachusetts, "Why do you call us Indians?" The answer has to do with how America, the nation, began. You could say it was accidentally.
We had this gentleman by the name of Christopher Columbus who was lost at sea. And he finally landed in a place in the West Indies, and he thought that he was in India. And so he was so determined to make it to India that he saw these real beautiful dark-skinned people, and he called them Indians. And the name stuck ever since then.
Columbus, we don't call it North Columbia and South Columbia. We call it North America and South America. But Amerigo Vespucci was in fact the agent of Florentine banking houses who was sent out to see what this was. And his descriptions of what this was were so popular, translated into so many languages, and read by everybody, that it was his name, not Columbus's name, that stuck.
But what about the people who already lived in America before the Europeans arrived? Initially friendly to the newcomers, the Native Americans soon came to distrust and fear the growing number of European settlers, and with good reason. The colonists not only brought a lust for land, they also brought deadly diseases.
The Native Americans felt that land was something that was owned by everyone. Colonists, on the other hand, had been raised in an environment where land was basically the thing that gave you social status. And also land was the one thing that gave people wealth. So they were coming to America basically looking for social status and wealth, and land was the secret to that. And private ownership of land was the way you got that. So that in itself led to a struggle between the Native Americans and the colonists.
The secret weapon of the Europeans was not bullets, but microbes. European diseases devastated the Amerindian population. Historians are still arguing over just how big a disaster it was, but no one argues that it was anything but a disaster.
Europeans came to America for many reasons. Spanish conquistadors who invaded Florida and Central America in the 1500s craved conquest and gold. Eventually, New Spain would extend into what is now the American Southwest. Trading was the big appeal to the French, who settled the upper Mississippi and parts of modern-day Canada, and to the Dutch, who founded New York. But it would be colonists from Britain who would turn the American continent into one new nation.
An organization called the Virginia Company was set up to settle Virginia, businessmen trying to make a profit. So they sent 104 settlers here, half of which were listed as gentlemen. They were gentry from England. And the others were laborers and craftsmen. And they were here to, I think, join the adventure, to go to something, a new world, an unknown area, and also to make money, to make a profit for themselves. Well, first of all, we found a great collection and a variety of arms and armor. And that's what you'd expect for soldiers coming into a different country to set up an outpost. We also have found thousands of artifacts indicating that there were industries going on here, like metallurgy. In other words, the story that people were looking for gold is very true, and glass making was going on, pipe making was going on, blacksmiths were working, a lot of industry, a lot of activity. And in the past, people have thought that Jamestown was settled by a whole gathering of lazy gentlemen, and that didn't do anything, but we're not finding that story at all archaeologically.